How's it going, my fellow snail sufferers? Today we're going to be taking a detailed dive into the next generation of Fox 2s, or infrared missiles, that will come to War Thunder in the foreseeable future. As per usual, these missiles are very modern, therefore information is limited. I will be doing my best to give the most accurate and in-depth explanation possible for every missile we talk about here. As always, everything is timestamped below. Let's get right on with the video. We are going to start off with what we currently have in game for the American tech tree, which is the AIM-9M-4. This missile was added in September of 2023, and we haven't had a single upgrade in 3 years. Not even a later model. Kinda crazy to me. Either way, the AIM-9M-4 represents the pinnacle of 1980s infrared missile technology. It's an extremely potent missile that is strong in the War Thunder meta, but even in its current state, the missiles we will be discussing shortly completely blow this one out of the water. The AIM-9M obviously lacks data link capabilities, and therefore it also lacks lock-on after launch. It is still an agile missile sitting at around 35 Gs, however it does not have thrust vectoring. For War Thunder, the 9M is still a very good missile and already proves to be one of the hardest missiles to evade on side aspect shots. But that is nothing compared to the AIM-9X. This missile changes the entire meta for American aircraft. The AIM-9X Block 1 is a complete shift from the AIM-9M. It was designed to dominate the close-in fight by removing the need to point your jet directly at the enemy. Its role is to be a high off-board sight weapon that can be used in almost any situation up close. The 9X Block 1 uses a 128 by 128 pixel imaging infrared seeker, also known as an IIR seeker. This is the critical difference between the 9X and the 9M. Instead of simply detecting a hot spot, the missile sees a detailed image of the target. This allows it to distinguish an aircraft from a flare with much greater reliability, as it can identify the shape and signature of the aircraft itself. It is considered a relatively simple IIR system by modern standards, but compared to the AIM-9M, it almost completely comes off like a supercomputer. The 9X also introduces thrust vectoring, which allows it to achieve a 90-degree off-board sight capability when used with a helmet-mounted display. In some situations, the missile can even perform near 180-degree engagements if it has enough room to turn after launch. Because of this, pre-flaring will become an absolute must if you want to survive close-range fights. In terms of maneuverability, the Block 1 is capable of pulling over 60 Gs, which is a massive upgrade over the 9M. Another, and probably one of the most important upgrades to the Block 1 is one-way data link. This allows the launch aircraft to transmit target updates to the missile just before and immediately after launch. This helps guide the missile towards the correct location before the seeker fully takes over. However, because it is one-way data link, the missile cannot be retargeted mid-flight. This is very important to note, and one of the big differences between the Block 1 and Block 2. But in case you thought the Block 1 wasn't good enough, the AIM-9X Block 2 takes everything the Block 1 does and improves it even further. The Block 2 retains the same IIR seeker concept, but with a significantly improved software and processors. This gives it much better flare rejection, improved target discrimination in cluttered environments, and overall better performance. The missile also retains the 90-degree off-board sight capability with thrust vectoring. However, the biggest upgrade with the Block 2 is its two-way enhanced data link. Now, this is a huge deal that cannot be understated. Not only can the missile receive better target updates, but it can also transmit information back to the launch aircraft. This allows for lock-on after launch scenarios where the aircraft can fire the missile towards a target's general location and then confirm the lock afterwards. In some situations, it can allow post-launch retargeting, making it an extremely flexible weapon. The Block 2 would likely act as a direct upgrade over the Block 1 in War Thunder. In game, this would probably translate to a missile that is even harder to spoof with countermeasures and is cracked in a dogfight. This missile would be completely meta-changing for the American tech tree, and I hope we get it sometime soon to help out certain jets like the Hornet. Next up, we have Russia. Russia has access to several modern Fox 2s that we'll be discussing here. Currently in game, we have the AA-11 Archer, or better known as the R-73. The R-73 was Russia's first officially produced thrust vectoring high off-board sight missile. The version we have in War Thunder uses gate with IRCCM, does not feature data link whatsoever, and has a high off-board sight capability of about 45 degrees. Despite this, it is still an impressive missile if you can get it to not spin out in game. Russia's response to the AIM-9X Block 1 was the R-73M, which brought a large upgrade to the R-73 platform. The R-73M was a direct modernization intended to bring the missile more in line with 21st century threats and countermeasures. Its role remains the same as the original R-73, but it is significantly smarter and more resistant to countermeasures. One of the major improvements is the upgraded seeker. Many versions replace the original IR seeker with a modern imaging infrared seeker, similar in concept to the 9X, or in short, the IIR seeker. This provides a massive improvement in countermeasure resistance, allowing the missile to better distinguish aircraft from modern flares. The missile retains its 45-degree off-board sight capability, but introduces one-way data link, allowing the aircraft to send upgraded target information before and shortly after launch. This improves the probability of kill against maneuvering targets. This was essentially the response to the AIM-9X Block 1, same capabilities in a lot of regards. But next up, we have the R-74, which is a much deeper modernization of the R-73 platform. The naming can sometimes be confusing because it is occasionally used interchangeably with the R-73M. However, the R-74 designation is generally associated with missiles that feature the newer advanced seeker technology. Its role is to provide a next-generation high off-board sight capability with a seeker capable of handling more advanced countermeasures. One of the major upgrades is its inertial two-coordinate optical seeker, often described as a pseudo-imaging seeker or advanced IIR seeker. This seeker is designed to be highly resistant to infrared flares and modern jamming techniques, while providing improved target discrimination and tracking reliability. The R-74 also increases the high off-board sight capability from 45 degrees to around 60 degrees, giving the aircraft a much larger launch envelope, which is important in split-second launches. However, it still only features one-way data link, meaning it can receive pre-launch target updates but cannot send information back to the aircraft, meaning it lacks lock-on after launch capabilities, etc. Next, we have the R-74M, which is widely considered the definitive production version of the R-74 family, and usually the R-74 that people refer to for War Thunder. This missile incorporates lessons learned from the previous variants and is designed to compete directly with the American AIM-9X Block 2. It features a fully mature IIR seeker with improved resolution and advanced algorithms capable of rejecting even complex countermeasures such as next-generation flares and directed infrared countermeasures systems such as the IRCM. This missile retains its 60-degree high off-board sight capability and the same thrust vectoring system capable of roughly 60 Gs of maneuverability. However, the major upgrades comes in the data link system, which is now two-way, similar to the 9X Block 2. This allows for mid-course updates, post-launch retargeting, lock-on after-launch capabilities, and the possibility of transmitting seeker imagery back to the launch aircraft. This greatly expands the tactical flexibility of the missile. Finally, we have the R-74M2. Much like the AIM-9X Block 3, this missile is mostly known through Russian sources discussing future missile development. It does not appear that this missile has ever entered widespread production or service. It represents the theoretical peak of the R-73 and R-74 family. The R-74M2 was intended to be a super maneuverable missile with an expanded engagement envelope and even more advanced seeker technology. Its seeker would likely have been an evolution of the IIR system, possibly incorporating multispectral homing and additional infrared bands to defeat advanced stealth and countermeasure technologies. It was also expected to feature improved thrust vectoring and possibly a dual-mode control system, combining thrust vectoring with aerodynamic control surfaces for even greater agility. The goal was maneuverability well in excess of 60 Gs, potentially alongside a more advanced data link and improved rocket motor. However, there is no further information on this missile. This missile never actually existed, same way how the AIM-9X Block 3 never actually fully entered production. It's expensive and very hard to do, and therefore we probably won't see an M2 model in War Thunder as it doesn't technically exist. Well, there we have it. I am planning to go over every Fox 2 from every country, but I'm not going to do it all in one video. If I did, it would easily turn into a 20 to 25-minute video, and I think it's better to split everything up for everybody's viewing pleasure. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful at all, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and maybe consider joining the Discord below. Comment down below if I missed anything, and feel free to give your opinions. I try my hardest to respond to every comment. With that being said, this was R-60. Peace.